It is my privilege to present the following program that was inspired by the way American businesses and organizations have responded to the events of September 11th. It's part of a special series produced by Heartbeat of America. Having served in the United States Navy for many years, I fully appreciate the important role small and middle-sized businesses play in the very fabric of our country, and I salute the professionals who lead these companies and thus keep America strong. They are the very backbone of our free enterprise system, and today on this program, you will meet the individuals behind one such organization. I'll be back later in the program to introduce the Keeping America Strong Award. And now, let's learn more about the organization we are honoring today.
Today, the eyes and ears of the 21st century are focused on new developments, new technologies, new emerging companies. We're on the scene to bring it to you as it happens.
We anchor from our new studios in Los Angeles and then go out all over America to get to the heart of the story.
I'm Bert Tenzer.
I'm Bella Shaw.
I'm Doug Llewelyn.
And I'm William Shatner, and this is Heartbeat of America. Since 2001, our television series has been featuring entrepreneurial companies that move our country and our economy forward. Standing by at our studios in Los Angeles is one such company.
And I'm Doug Llewelyn here in our studios in Los Angeles. We're about to hear about the exciting field of renewable energy and some unique opportunities available in that arena on a nationwide basis. Our guest company tonight is Ambassador Energy. It's headquartered in Murrieta, California. It's in Southern California between Los Angeles and San Diego. And I'd like to introduce you now to the two chief executives of the firm. First on my left is Kelly Smith, the president of the company, and on her left is the founder and the CEO, Steve Fulgham. Folks, welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Kelly, before we begin, a short while ago, you had a chance to actually answer a few questions from William Shatner in a conversation with him. Let's take a look and see how that went.
Welcome. Good to have you with us. All right, let's begin by telling me what you do and who benefits from it.
Bill, we're a renewable energy company, and we are the missing link between those migrating into the renewable energy space to run a small business and those who are actually successful at running a small business. And we like to think that we're changing the climate of the world.
Well, you're obviously successful, so what do you attribute your success to? Any particular philosophies or strategies?
Our strategy really comes from the heart. We were out there selling and installing solar systems, and it led us to this point in our company where we wanted to show others how to do it. So the strength of our company is that we've been there, we're empathetic, and we're extremely passionate about what we do.
Well, that was fascinating indeed. Sounds like you're in a really unique operation. Tell me, what really is going on in this field of what is generally referred to as renewable energy? It sounds exciting.
Well, I tell you, it is very exciting. It was never my intention to re-career at this stage in the game. This renewable energy world sort of happened, and it started happening around us, and we found ourselves immersed in it, and now the rest of the world is taking hold, and it's all anyone talks about anymore. So we're very excited to be in this field, and I'm surprised at how excited I am to get up and do this every day, and spreading the word and helping to change the world is really what my tagline is on my email, is change the world, and that's literally what we're doing. But the renewable energy is a word that, it's a phrase that gets tossed around a lot, and a lot of people may not know exactly what the renewable energy part of it is. I like to say that the consumable right now is solar PV, and that's solar photovoltaics, because that is what is accessible. That's what's on the market. That's what everybody knows about. That's what people are buying. And there's a whole line of products that are in line to come up after solar PV, including wind and a lot of other emerging technologies. But in today's consumable language, I would say renewable energy equals solar, PV, and wind.
What does the PV mean? That could be throwing a lot of people off.
That could be. Steve, what do you think?
PV stands for photovoltaic. So some people are familiar with solar and they think of pool solar, heating your water for your pool basically
Right.
in black pipes.
Right.
Photovoltaics is poly or monocrystalline panels that generate power through a positive and negative layer to get into the scientific part. They're completely different. Usually when you think of PV, you think of hard panels, although thin film is changing that.
So what you're talking about is a method of heating your home, is that right? Is it heating water?
No, it's producing electricity to offset your electrical bill.
All right, I'm going to hold up a picture here. This is exactly what you're talking about, am I right?
Exactly. Those are PV panels.
All right, they're solar panels.
Correct.
Are they the same kind of solar panels we see on, along the roadside where there might be a sign that's being illuminated, by solar energy?
Absolutely. They're exactly the same. These would be larger than the ones on a street sign.
All right, so what are the benefit to the homeowner who has this on his roof? What happens?
A great reduction in their power bill. We have what we call net metering here. So when somebody puts solar on their house, they can reduce their bill from a $1,000 a bill month down to $200 or even zero if they wanted to go there. There's reasons not to. We educate people on that. But $800 back in your pocket per month is quite a savings for the average household.
No kidding. That would be, I know it varies depending on where you live in the country, but California, the energy bills are very steep here, so it's a really significant saving you can realize here. And I'm sure it'd be the same in other areas.
It is, and $1,000 is a mighty hefty bill. We're not assuming that across America people have that kind of bill. But even in smaller communities or places like that aren't California, if you have a $300 a month bill and you can take that down to $40, that represents a chunk of change that people can do something else with.
It really can be that significant a saving?
Absolutely. It's as much as you want to offset. It's a formula. You tell us how much you want to offset, and we can take your bill down to zero. It's just a function of how much.
Speak of how many panels you put on your
correct.
roof. And what happens if you live in an area where there's a lot of, you have a lot of cloudy weather, like Seattle?
Seattle's a great example. I went to school in Seattle. Clouds do not affect solar PV as much as people would think. Direct shadows, if there's a telephone pole in the way, that would be an issue.
Right.
Clouds create diffuse sunlight. It only degrades solar PV's performance by 10 or 15%. Germany's a great example. You don't think of Germany as a sunny country.
Right.
2.5 hours of sun a day, 40% of their power is produced by PV. They're light years ahead of us on producing power with PV. So that offsets any climate issues we would have in the U.S. Seattle has about 3.5 to 3.75 hours of sun a day on average, so miles above Germany.
And that's sufficient to guess, I assume, are you charging batteries? Is that what you're doing, or whatever
Maybe I'll take it back a step. Solar PV, when you put those panels on a roof, and I'll just speak to the hard panels because that's what we're seeing a lot of.
Right.
You put those on the roof, the sun shines on them.
Right.
They absorb the energy as DC power.
Right.
That energy goes through wires, connects into an inverter, and the inverter, which you do have a picture of, converts the energy from DC, and the electricians out there are going to know what we're talking about, but it goes from DC power on the roof to AC power in the meter.
Okay.
From the inverter. From the inverter, it goes to the home meter. The meter decides how much of the house needs that energy, and whatever is excess, at least in the state of California and other states that do net metering, what is not being fed to the house based on what's being done at that time. If someone's running laundry and they're cooking and they're using all of that energy, all of what's on the roof getting transferred down into the house will go into the house. If there's any left over, at least in the state of California and some other states that do net metering, it goes back to the utility where the utility buys it from you.
Very interesting.
So you're hooked to the grid. Solar PV is not for people who are isolated running on generator and battery. It is really a consumable. It's for anybody that is on the grid or off the grid. It's just a little bit different equipment.
Well, you're convincing me this is worthwhile, but let's focus on what your company does. What actually do you do?
Do you want to